been through enough together? Can I get a high five? This is literally the best moment of my life.
Hello, everyone. I'm Daniel Bloodworth, joined by Michael Huber.
Yo.
And Elyse Willems.
Yo, yo.
So good to have you here.
So good to have you here, Elyse.
We have been talking about Life is Strange, Double Exposure. We're now on Chapter 4.
Penultimate, one of my favorite words. No one has a chance to use it.
This is where things are really like the big questions start to get answered. We really start to like dig in on like a lot of the plot threads. Mm-hmm. So if you have not played it, you need to get out of here. You just go.
Leave.
Get to playing this thing. Get caught up.
Make like a tree and leave.
And if you haven't caught up on other episodes, go back and watch those chapters as well. But we're about to get into it right now.
Spoiler mode, final warning, spoiler mode, activated.
Chapter 4.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we left off
On the ice.
on the ice.
Yeah.
Safi has changed back from you saw yourself, now Safi's here, so like all kinds of like possibilities starting to run through our head. But
Yeah.
this chapter really like in some ways it like brings conclusions to like a lot of the plot threads. Like you're saying, penultimate.
Penultimate.
Like it's kind of the end, but not quite the end. Yeah.
Chapter 4 called Diptych.
Diptych.
2 pictures, similar but different.
Oh.
2 timelines, similar
Sick.
but different.
Sick,
Excellent,
Elyse. I love
excellent.
that.
We'll see how they intertwine. Who knows?
Yeah, and we do have a lot of like kind of exploratory conversation at the start of this episode. But when you're talking about, last time about sort of the pacing and stuff, it's like this one is just like it is basically all straightforward. Like follow the line.
Yeah.
Like you're not getting like little moments anymore to go hang out with people and stuff
Totally.
like that. It's like. No,
And-
wrap up this mystery is kind of your
Yeah.
job here.
Yeah, and so something that I was really trying to think through with this episode, because I don't know what the original publishing intention was, what the original programming cadence was supposed to be for these episodes, because with past Life is Strange games, it's it's week to week, or it's every few weeks, or the first game it was kind of like we didn't know when an episode was coming
months.
out. And so I could totally see why at the beginning of an episode you'd want to revisit a lot of the plot points and information and catch people, if people hadn't played an episode in a minute, catch them
Yeah.
up on what's going on. But I did feel quite a bit of this conversation with Safi, which was very, very long, and we're getting into it.
Yeah.
It's her and I like face to face finally, like sharing all this information, talking about what's going on. I did feel like, okay, like I'm playing these chapters in succession, one after
Yeah.
the other, over the span of 2 days, and I'm feeling like I'm retreading
Yeah.
a lot of this information that I've had in conversations with people. So I was like, I wonder if that's a fallout of maybe a shift in the release cadence.
Yeah.
Where
That's a
they
good
thought,
point.
where it was
I mean, I think-
originally like, okay, if we're gonna release these week to week, we want to catch people up, you
Yeah.
know. But
I actually appreciate it still being designed this way. Like if, the ideal world that we would be able to get together
Have a minute.
and
Yeah.
talk between each episode rather than playing them back to back like that. But because it's like it changes how you view where things are going to go and what we're going to
Totally.
talk about and theorize about.
It was a little clunky, I will say.
But-
Elyse, I'm with you.
But yeah, I
felt a
do
little-
like
yeah.
that they're still like, okay, I'm done. There's a cliffhanger, but I'm gonna like sit on this
Yeah.
for a night, come back to it tomorrow.
Totally.
At the very least. But yeah, I just think that the deeper you get into this, the less there is to
unpack maybe a little bit.
to go around and
Yeah.
wander around and stuff, and more of just like, just get all the payoffs on all where things have been.
I was so interested to learn what the hell was going on with Safi.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah. So the funny thing is, though, that before you get deep into like the operation I guess. Because that's what this
Yeah.
episode basically is. It's an operation to
Totally.
take somebody down.
Mission.
She's like, oh, you're sopping wet. So you do actually have a moment to like walk around the house.
Yeah.
And if you have the cat to go
If
pet
you
the
have the
cat.
cat, if you
Yeah.
paid up for the cat.
I pet Quentin.
Yep.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, because I stole, wrong word, stole the little bowling plushie or whatever in the very beginning of the first
Bowling
ball
episode.
yeah.
man.
You could give it to the cat.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I gave it to him too.
Yeah.
Did I? Oh.
And I like when you pet Miso, Max is so excited, and she literally says, "This is one of the best moments of my life." And it's like petting, it's like purring. It's really cute, really nice.
Yeah. But then it's down to business because we are confronting Safi.
Yes.
Yeah. So we get back down, get a change of clothes, get back down, and then talking about the mechanics of shapeshifting.
Yes.
Yes.
And how it
which
works.
is a direct flaw later on. 100%.
Oh, yeah?
Hear me out. Hear me out. Okay.
Is this a future spoiler?
No, in this
Okay.
episode, is this a plot hole? Okay. Safi specifically states that to shapeshift, she messes with your brain.
Yeah, she changes your perception.
Okay. Later in the Snapping Turtle, in this same episode, she goes to the bathroom and comes out
As Loretta.
disguised as Loretta. Walking as Loretta.
Mm-hmm.
So is she touching every single person's brain in the Snapping Turtle to be Loretta? Because when she does it with Max, it feels like she needs to, she's taking it slow. She's doing it. It's like a hyper-focused thing. And then in a bar full of 20 people, she just like, zip, zip.
Is she messing?
Hey, I'm Loretta. Like,
well,
what?
she messing with. I guess I didn't pick up on that. Is she messing with the brain of the person she's pretending to be, or the brains of everyone that's observing this person?
That's observing.
Oh,
But she says alters a person's perception. So
it's
they
like
could
she's
also,
not altering her perception. She's altering how you perceive her. She's literally making your brain think you see
Right.
someone
okay.
else.
But I wonder still if that's not necessarily like she's like tapping into your mind
Yeah.
in the same way as she is kind of like putting up like a kind of a cloaking thing. But I don't know. I think that later on, like, I don't think it's that out of reach for her to be
touching everyone's brains.
touching a bunch of people's
Yeah.
brains at the
Or
same
maybe
time.
since
Yeah.
it's through our perspective, we see her as Loretta, but
I think everybody
Everyone else
that's, I
sees
think
it.
everybody
No.
that sees her, but it's yeah.
it was weird. I was like, this seems a little fast and loose with these power rules, but I'm going to let this one slide because I always let one thing slide. I always let one thing slide. You got one free one. That was the free one.
so
Yeah,
generous.
I think there's something about if they
okay.
can perceive her, then
Yeah.
that's all it
Sure.
takes to change their perception. Yeah.
But I love
Yeah.
that conversation
That's
about talking
interesting.
about the mechanics of the powers,
Yes.
and I loved going into Max explaining it too. Like,
Yeah.
like I can
The bottle cap
go
going
into
back and forth was such a great device.
Yes.
Yeah.
Them comparing notes of
Great
their
payoff.
freakish abilities.
Yeah.
And I liked learning the terms and parameters of shape-shifting. Like we
Yeah.
learned that she can only do it with anyone she's met in real life.
Yes.
She can't just become, the president of the United
Yeah.
States.
Right.
She
Yeah.
thinks them. And then we learn about some of the people that she has shape-shifted to pretend to be.
Did you get to call her out on Gwen?
Yes.
Okay.
I you know what I loved? Moses off limits.
Moses
Yes.
off limits.
Moses off limits.
Well, we learned she shapeshifted into Lucas, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember what time she shapeshifted to Lucas, though. Was it
Yeah.
at the memorial? No. She
I don't know
did
if
at
it
some
was-
point, though.
Yeah, that's how the thing happened
with the sun.
with Robbie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Robbie,
that
yes.
was it. That was it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So she did so Robbie did say weird things or whatever, but yeah. And then she was Gwen, and she sold drugs to students.
Crazy.
That's Gwen.
To set
Yeah.
Gwen up specifically, and
Using your
she did fess up
powers.
to Amanda as well.
Yes.
In the,
Yes.
in the
And I was like,
cafe.
yo, you're a man who
Old
needs work.
sport Amanda.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I didn't say like don't ever do that again. I just
Yeah.
said you need some
Need a little
more
work
cute
on
little
that.
line there.
And I loved Max explaining her powers too, talking about another dimension. Safi's reaction to that I thought was incredible. It's one thing to shapeshift, it's another to learn that there's an entirely other reality out there with another version of you and your friends.
Yeah.
And then also Max talking about rewinding powers and Arcadia Bay and the ramifications of that. One of the strongest elements of the entirety of Double Exposure for me was Max's trauma, obviously, but just Max's growth, Max's, what she has learned to let go, what she can't let go of, just the entire examination of Max post Life is Strange 1, I thought was really well done throughout the entirety of the game.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
And it's also,
Talking about how like rewinding is a curse. Like Safi's like, oh, you can rewind anything. Awesome. It's like, no, not so fast. So, yeah.
Yeah, I tell Safi that I chose Chloe. And,
yeah.
And the ramifications.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing that's crazy though to me about it is like, unless I'm misremembering something, like this is the first time that we've had two people with powers like actually
Together.
meet.
Yes.
And
To
it's
know
something
that
we've
there's
thought about
anyone
for
else.
so long.
Yeah.
Life is Strange too. Really, you're thinking about like
Are they going to encounter Max?
and Captain
Yeah.
Spirit. It's like, wow, okay, there's people with
Yeah.
powers. Like, when are we gonna get that X-Men team up? It's just, And it's like, okay, now we're starting to get closer to that.
There was a time I think in chapter 3 when Moses called out the X-Men specifically.
yep. Hell yeah.
There was a question posed, and I don't know what the other options are, but I guess Safi asks us, like, what happens? And I said, I killed you.
Oh, I was like, you die. Yeah.
Yeah, you said
I was a coward. I was a coward. I was like,
Yeah,
you die.
I told her, I said, I killed you.
Yeah, I
like
should've.
in the
Oh, I didn't.
what happened in the-
I didn't
in the-
say that not because I was necessarily trying to hold it back at that point. It was
Yeah.
more like
Same.
I still don't know
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
what, because like I didn't witness. All I have is the photo,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
somehow there's a photograph of
Yeah.
Max with a gun.
Like, it
Is
wasn't
that like the
me.
Polaroids? Did
Yeah.
that come from some other freaking place? Like,
yeah.
Totally.
I was
Yeah.
worried that was going to come to bite
Yeah.
me.
But then
and even
she
the
calls
moment
you
when
out
you go
pretty
back
quickly.
in time, it's like Safi's just like taking a picture of you with the gun, like it's a joke. Yeah.
Well, Safi gives you the gun, like, hold this.
Yeah.
I like that we learned a bit more about Safi's dynamic with her dad and mom. That like
Yeah.
after her dad left, which we learn more about, Safi just basically became her mother's project. But then she couldn't live up to like the expectations of her mother.
Yes, this was a great plot line too. And something we haven't really seen in Life is Strange. Like Alex Chen was like grew up in in like an orphanage home place or whatever, and
I think we saw a fair amount of it with Chloe.
Chloe a little bit.
With Joyce and David.
for sure.
There was a lot of that kind of.
There's definitely
But
an
like
absentee
the absentee
parent, like because Max is away at boarding school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The boys don't have their father in
Yeah.
the second, or the parents in the second one. Like,
Yeah. But I liked
The-
really going into it this time because, like, even in Life is Strange
Yeah.
2,
Or-
like, they take off. Like,
yeah, Captain Spirit, like, isn't his dad abusive?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I really liked, like, examining that. Like, I feel like it's been a premise and a kind of just there in the past. But this is, like, just being able to hear Safi talk about it and see it
That,
firsthand.
that her mom is manipulating things
Yeah.
to try to benefit her.
Yeah.
But it's not what she wants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We learn about kind of like Safi and Maya.
Yeah. This is when we get into the weeds with everything that happened.
They were best friends. And when Safi learned the whole thing came to light with Lucas stealing Maya's book, Safi told her to stay quiet.
Yeah. So she
yeah.
partly blames herself.
Oh, God.
Safi was mad at Vin for that statement.
Yeah. So much guilt.
There's a question where like Safi, I think, asks us if we would be capable of hurting her.
I was like,
Oh,
no
Something
way.
like that.
yeah, because
Max is no murderer.
because Max is like afraid from that
Yeah.
photo, and she's like, well, what's do you think you could hurt me? And she's like, yeah.
I said no. I'm not.
I said no.
I said no, but then on the flip side, in the back of my brain, I'm like, I've seen 1,000 movies where someone gets pushed to the absolute brink and they do some unspeakable thing that they never thought they would be capable of. So I was like, it is a possibility, but my Max believes that she is not capable of this right here, right now. There's no way.
Right here, right now.
Exactly. So
I mean, at this point, we could have one Safi cross a timeline and shoot the other Safi.
I
you know? It's
I know.
like-
Anything was up in the air for sure.
She's already framed one person on video. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no time for talking because Krampus on campus is tonight.
Krampus on campus. And what was the Halloween, the Vortex Club one in Life is Strange one?
There's a Halloween. I don't
the
know
Halloween
what the
party, right?
is,
It's
but-
in that. This is the last time I'm going to mention the lack of new environments. I promise. I'm not going to bring it up one more time. I wish the Krampus party
Was somewhere else. Yeah.
in a frat house or in a new location.
Yeah.
The fact that it was just in the bar again, like, oh, that one let me down.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with having the two of each environment.
Yeah.
Because that was the whole thing. Is to
Oh,
see.
swapping back and forth was so depressing.
Yeah. Just to see that dynamic, the difference with the decorations and everything.
Yeah. It definitely was impactful for sure. There's like some really depressing music in the
the musical
timeline.
changes and the
It's
lighting
like,
changes.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Just the lack of people that are in the dead world.
Moses just sitting by himself.
Yeah, with the gingerbread.
Brutal.
So again, bonus content that we apparently didn't realize we had gotten. Did you hear the podcast about the catnapping?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. So there is a QR code
Yeah, which I tried to
on
scan
the door
in
to
real
the
life.
patio.
Oh.
And you get Loretta with the podcast saying that like this woman's cat had been stolen or whatever, and then you basically like text and like find out that
Found
your
her
cat is her cat, and so you arrange to return it.
Oh.
So
Oh, I'm so excited to hear how that played
Elyse is
out.
keeping the cat.
But you know what? I don't think it really comes up much
Well, I mean, it
more.
does for us.
Yeah, it does for us.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm interested to hear about
Yeah.
that.
This is so crazy. Because that's what you're talking about. Like for this to be a paid extra thing.
I know. What are you
a
doing?
missable quest line.
What
like,
are
what?
you doing? Oh, gross. Hey. The business side always has to be there a little bit.
I never
You know,
wore like the
it's-
Moogle suit or anything either. It just felt too out of place. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt out of place. I just liked her classic fit. It was nice.
Yeah.
I
I did change, but
Once
it's like
in a while
even,
I would.
even without you changing outfits, her outfit changes
Yeah.
every time. So it's kind of weird.
I would sometimes be like, oh, I like the inside version, but I don't like the
I
outside
know.
Yeah.
Why could we not
I
mix
did
and
have that.
match
I did have that.
Yeah.
What is that?
There's one that I picked
'Cause
because
I
like I
wanted the
didn't realize she
skull
had like
one.
frosted tips, like she had like
Oh,
purple
yeah,
hair
yeah,
at the bottom.
yeah.
You know, it's like,
Yeah.
Nice.
Diamond and Moses are playing Magic or something.
Here we go. Here's another disappointment, dude. Especially after Before the Storm and stuff.
Oh,
like
you wanted to play with
D&D.
me?
Oh, there was.
How are you not gonna let us
Yep.
play this card game, dude? Just like little things I wanted. Like this is no longer some grassroots indie game. Like this is big ass Life is Strange. You know, this is top tier. So I was like, oh, how are you like withholding
Yeah.
just a little like and it's like I don't think I'm asking for too much here. You know, especially because of precedent. Like
Right.
Steph hosted that D&D game with us. Like,
Well, we play.
you know,
we did play D&D again in True Colors, didn't we?
Yeah,
I think.
and the LARPing section.
LARP,
and
the
yeah.
all that.
LARP.
You know, so
oh yeah.
And like they kind of did
Yeah.
it in the last episode with Amanda, the whole like imaginary thing, a little tiny shades
But
of
that
that,
was-
but it was like
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was just like one like
yeah,
pretty straightforward thing. Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I got so excited when I saw them playing the card game, and especially too because Diamond even says something like. Or she's like, oh, I think I'm gonna get him, and he's like, yeah, we only have 2 rounds left. Like, oh, it's like, oh, they're gonna finish the game, and then I'm gonna play, and it's
Yeah.
like, no.
Yeah, to have that on the one side and then the gingerbread house on the other, and
Wow.
like not really interact with either one of them. Yeah. Yeah.
The gingerbread house a little bit.
Yeah. But I'm just saying that, like, who knows? Like, you could have assembled your own or something. you
Yeah,
know?
just a little bit more. Yeah.
The Krampus festivities are under the way. There's a guy in a Krampus mask.
Loved that.
The guy in the
And
Krampus
it was
mask.
I didn't write his name down. if you read
It's in there, Rowan.
Yeah, I think it was Rowan. If you read the social threads, you realize that it's him. One of the threads is like, oh man, this mask. Abraxas has had this mask for 100 years and it smells horrible.
And
It's probably never been cleaned
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
So, and then I think Vin was like, yo, you're taking one for the team, bro. Like, yeah, I thought that was good. I really shout out to all the social media stuff. I thought it was so well done. I thought it really helped tie these characters together in a cool way, and it was never overwhelming. Sometimes you swap back and forth and you'll get some updates, but like it would always just take a minute or so to read through them. You know, it wasn't like a freaking Remedy game. So I really liked how that all came together.
Yeah. You tell Dead World Moses about the plan, and then you kind of try to recruit some folks. I got Gwen,
I got Gwen too. She hated my guts, but I got her.
at least.
What did you get Gwen for?
To help call out
Yeah.
Lucas. We
Yeah.
needed a faculty
Yeah.
person.
Oh, I did not. I did not get. Oh, because there's supposed to. Well, I guess we should set the scene. There's supposed to be a roast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's supposed to be a roast
of
for Lucas.
Lucas
Yeah,
happening tonight.
And
Yes.
so the plan
And-
is
yeah.
to swap the images on the projector
Yeah.
with the images of the stolen manuscript versus his version in the book.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
you're trying to basically get allies. So
Yeah.
Safi is going over to talk to Vin. You've got to convince
Recruit Gwen, and
and
also-
then you've got to distract Reggie to
Yeah.
somehow swap the files on the projector.
Yeah.
I told Gwen about it, but Gwen was like, "This is not my cause." She was like, "I'm done trying." Like basically, like she was.
Dang.
Just,
Was she expelled from the faculty at that point?
I don't
mine
think
was.
it was. Was it at that point?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe she was.
She was having a
But I
drink
think
at the
because
bar.
I gave her the footage,
I loved her
she, wa-
social
she was in. Yeah.
Yeah, her social media post too was like, feel free to buy me a drink, anybody.
Yeah, maybe she was, and then she was just kind of like, I'm done trying to help other people and this and I get it. She was probably like, I'm not even. This is not my fight.
She was down in the dumps at that point.
Yeah, this is not my fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, like so I did not have. So how did she help you?
That comes up later,
Yeah,
like,
it'll come
during the roast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
okay.
our main mission was to sabotage the projector.
Yeah.
Yeah, Olga is the
Olga.
projector's
Big
called.
ol' Olga projector.
Yes.
Yeah, I tried to quietly get Reggie to be like, oh, you don't have to worry about this. I'll take
Yeah.
care. It's like he's too stressed out.
Yeah.
He's not gonna leave his sight, leave it
Yeah.
out of his sight.
And then you recruit Diamond
Yes,
to distract him.
yes.
To distract who?
Reggie.
She texts him.
And she could either text him about Vin
Oh,
because
yes,
Reggie has a
yes.
crush on Vin.
Yep.
Or you could have her talk about a missing assignment, a fake
I
assignment,
went
because he
for-
freaks out about school.
I
Yeah.
went for the assignment. 'cause
Same.
I
I
didn't
did
want
too,
to.
I
I
did
didn't want
too.
to play with anybody's hearts.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, you know?
And Vin and Safi were over there doing their thing, so I was like, let's do the school thing.
Oh, so here's we want to follow up on the stuff you guys didn't see. Remember the puzzle box again?
Oh yeah.
Remember having Abraxas again?
Yes.
Living World social media Abraxas is freaking out because they see that I have the Abraxas pin. They don't know where I got it from. It's like, no, man, I didn't lose my
Oh.
pin. Like, I've got mine.
Like,
Like,
how did Max Caulfield get a pin? No way.
How did she get into Abraxas? We didn't. It's like, I still got the puzzle box. I haven't opened it. So.
Awesome, blood. Awesome. Super cool.
But yeah, so you get to mess with the projector.
Which was a fun little like Moses. We're
Very
using
fun.
switching between or using pulse to like
Yeah, switching
Get the
between what we can
instructions.
see and then using Pulse
He's-
to get instructions
Yeah.
from Moses.
He's
And
so
I love how he's
adorable.
like, I think she's had enough time by
Yeah.
now. She's
But what if I
probably-
say it too soon? I hope she hears me. Hey,
Yeah.
Max. Like,
Did you guys
adorable.
Did you do the little chimney thing for the
Oh
gingerbread
my
house?
gosh, it was so great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bittersweet. That scene made me
Mm-hmm.
real sad. I think that was one of the low key, most sad moments of
Yeah.
my playthrough. I took a deep breath after that. That was rough. You Moses needs a chimney for his gingerbread house in the dead world. You go to the living world and take Safi's chimney, and then she writes a little heart on there with all 3 of your
Yeah.
initials, and you give it to him, and he just, he has a moment, and then he just puts it on his little gingerbread house. It's a really sentimental, bittersweet moment. I really
Yeah.
liked that. It's my Moses bias.
And then I think it's Vin that tells you that like Lucas is like getting cold feet.
Yeah, somebody
And-
tells us that for sure.
And yeah, so you got to get out there and tell, you got to convince Lucas to like go through with the roast.
Yeah.
And that's when Safi turns into Loretta
Yeah.
and walks out there. And
Potentially manipulates every single person's mind and the brain, but
Yeah,
maybe
and
not.
I really appealed to Lucas's ego in this conversation.
Oh, I played it both sides. It was actually really funny.
yeah, like Loretta was basically roasting him already.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, genius takes time.
Oh
all
yeah.
this stuff.
I said no. For that one, I said, if you're determined enough, like eventually you'll get it done or something.
Yeah, I said some persistence pays off, right?
Persistence
Like,
pays off, and he's like, "What? Like, excuse me?"
Yeah, that was funny.
But then the
they
conversation
took that as a dig. Yeah,
He took it as a dig, and then the conversation kept going, and then I was like, "Oh, but you can't rush art. Like, art takes time."
Okay,
And-
yeah.
but how about that little too perfect name drop of Robert Colmenero in this conversation? Because, like, in that conversation with Lucas,
Yeah.
Loretta goes back inside, and then Lucas says something to Max of like, yeah, my father, Robert Colmenero.
Oh, right.
And
A little convenient.
and then
Yeah.
you go inside, and Lucas comes. He's fine.
Oh yeah,
now,
he's
gonna
been
do it.
tapping his
tapping his jacket
Yeah.
pocket, and then he hangs up his coat on the coat rack.
Yeah.
And okay,
That scene
here's
was
the thing.
insane. This scene was insane.
If you're packing heat,
That was a big
if you got a
gun.
gun that you brought to this campus bar, Lucas, you're gonna hang up your coat
With
on
the
the
gun
coat rack.
in it.
I found that a little unbelievable.
and then Max pulls it out and is like, "Oh, a gun!" Like, huh?
in the middle, yeah. But then it's got the initials RC on
Nobody
it.
ever
Yeah.
sees Max. She's just
No.
an invisible person.
Crazy.
It-
Everything that she
it's
It
does.
freaks me out.
It's got the initials RC on it for Robert
Yeah.
Colmenero. It's Lucas's father's. But I was just kind of like, well, we just learned that this man exists, and now I was a little too direct.
Clunky.
Yeah.
Little
A
clunky.
little too direct, which I was like, I wouldn't have mind. And in one respect, I understand, because had they seeded it earlier, maybe we would have forgotten, and we
Yeah.
would have been like, who, what?
Yeah.
But so maybe they thought like, okay, we got to do this here so people, duh, we get it.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But yeah, and this is the part that kind of killed me because Safi, she takes it.
Yeah.
She
takes
just
the
straight up
gun.
takes it. Yeah.
And I was like, I would have been like, we got to take this gun and we got to like stash it
Throw it in
somewhere.
the lake or something.
Yeah, throw it in like,
Because I thought there'd be a decision there too. I thought that would be such a prime. I was like, here we go, top tier insane decision, because the whole time it's like, okay, well, if Max is the one in the future that shot Safi, just don't take the gun. And that's what Safi says in the beginning of the chapter. It's like, okay, just don't have a gun. Like,
Yeah.
don't shoot me. It's fine. So I thought we were going to get a decision there to like take the gun or not.
Yeah.
And then I was like, and I was like making the decision in my head, and it's not a decision, but in my head I was like, okay, if we take the gun, that could be really bad, because then we might end up shooting Safi. But if we don't take the gun, what if somebody else gets it and uses it for something even worse? At least if we take it, we'd have control. But then, yeah, that didn't even play out. Safi just takes the gun, and
yeah,
that's that. Yeah,
gosh.
I know. Bringing a gun into the equation, I'm like, here we go. Escalation.
Yeah, so then Vin starts walking through the evidence. The roast starts.
Yeah, the roast starts.
Lucas
Yeah,
is
the
on
roast.
stage, and the slideshow comes up, and it's not what Lucas is expecting.
Dude,
Lucas
shout out
is
to Vin.
expecting
Vin
to
holding it down here.
announce a movie.
Yeah.
And but this whole scene, like the vibes on it were a little on the weird side for
It was
me.
again, these last two chapters for me, the word for me is clunky. The presentation and the technical aspects,
Yeah.
I think, really held it down for me.
There's like this just
There's just
crowd
ambient
noise of people
crowd
that just
noise.
has nothing to do with anything.
It's
yeah.
it would be silent. You would hear a fucking pin drop during this, because one, it's a roast, so everyone's like listening. I mean, they're gonna like banter and stuff or like boo or cheer or whatever. But then when he starts freaking out, like, this isn't the slide, everyone would be like dialed in. Yeah, it was just very strange.
Yeah, there basically was
technically.
no crowd acting.
Yeah,
essentially.
it was
There was no reaction to what was happening on
Yeah,
stage
yeah,
except
it
from
was-
the key players.
It was weird. It was clunky.
First, it would beg the question of, does everybody here know who Maya Okada is, or the significance of why Lucas is supposed to be announcing his movie adaptation, but a big picture of Maya Okada is projected behind him instead. And, you know, it's so, yeah. And also, I think Lucas has a lot of sycophants in the student body.
Yeah.
So maybe they're just kind of like, well, Lucas has an explanation for that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
I
But
don't
again,
know.
it's
yeah.
like the crowd noise was just like
It was off.
a
Yeah.
bunch of people talking
It
at the
was
bar
off.
and not really
Yeah.
reacting to
Yeah, so-
anything happening. Yeah.
Especially
Yeah,
because if
but-
you look around too, there's not even that many people. It's like everyone's like crowded
Yeah.
looking
Right.
So-
at the roast.
Yeah, like
there's
if you
like
had
3
seen-
other people.
Yeah, if you had seen other people back in the
Yeah.
corner, maybe like some of that in the background, yeah, but you would still have
Yeah.
the people up front.
So they
Yeah.
they start to try to unpack it. There's this picture of Maya Okada and like her original manuscript and stuff, but it's not quite like having the effect they hope for. So then Max and Safi have an interaction where Safi's like, "Do I go up there as me and try
Oh,
to do
right.
something?"
Hell yeah.
Well,
And
before
or-
that, did you cheer or boo?
I cheered.
I cheered, yeah.
Because I was like, it's Maya's writing.
Yeah.
So it was weird to like boo the writing without knowing at that moment that
I booed. I was pissed. I was ready to go.
I was kind of like, if I boo this, I'm kind of booing the
Yeah.
essence of her writing. It was weird. It was a weird thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and Max even said, it was like, oh, yay, it was a good
Good.
line. Yeah. It was like,
Yeah. Yeah. But then Safi says to us, do I go up there? Do I storm the stage
but,
as me?
But I actually, that's when Gwen started speaking up before.
Oh,
Yeah.
you got Gwen.
Yeah.
because
Okay.
Lucas whispers something to Vin and Vin walks off.
Yeah.
Something sketch happened. He starts taking over and it's like he's gonna weasel out of
Yes,
this.
yeah.
And then Gwen comes up and is like, hey!
Yeah.
Oh,
But-
so what does Gwen do? What does she say?
Basically like you covered this up, right?
Oh, she calls it out.
I think she calls it out for sure.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And she's like, we helped do this or whatever, covered it
Damn.
up.
Yeah.
Good for you, Gwen.
But then
But then
he spins it. He spins it back
He
on
spins it
her
again.
and is like, oh, well, you know,
you were, yeah.
you're selling drugs to
Yeah.
kids
Right,
or
right, right.
whatever. You know, total
Yeah.
damage control spin.
Yeah. And then it's like, does Safi go up there as herself or go up as Vin? You get a choice.
Yeah.
And I said go up as Vin.
Oh, I said go up as
Because
yourself.
I didn't like Vin. So
Yeah, I thought that she should have the confidence.
I was
to
like, yeah,
go
I was
up
like,
and do it as herself.
That's what
yeah.
that's what I was thinking. I was like,
okay.
face him as yourself.
well, do you guys want to tell me what happened, or should I go tell you what happened with Vin first?
you go.
Okay. Well, Vin he goes off stage.
Yeah.
No Gwen comes up, but then I say to Safi, go up as Vin. So then she goes back up as Vin, and now he's got this renewed swagger and confidence, and he's like, well, hang on a second. Hang on. Let's get back into this. So then he gets back into it, Safi as Vin, and like hits, starts hitting. It's like A Few Good Men. Jack Nicholson's on the stand, and Vin's hitting Lucas, trying to rile Lucas up
Yeah.
to get him to, and he basically does expose himself.
Yeah.
And so he starts to try to like talk himself. He's getting flustered, and then he basically says, as Vin's accusing him of being the reason that Maya took her own life, he says, that little idiot ran off and calls Maya Okada like a little idiot and whatever.
yeah.
And it's like, oh no. And then Lucas, he tries to then recover and say, oh, well, we were going to publish together. And then it's not working. So then he runs off stage.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I mean, I think
Crazy.
it was fairly similar.
Fairly
with
similar.
Safi, I think it wasn't quite as antagonistic, but
Yeah.
he still basically slipped up and was like,
Yeah.
so like, well, I was gonna, do something with her, and yeah. So there's,
The part I really liked about her being herself there was that her connection to Maya.
yeah,
So she brought up the personal connection of it.
Oh, okay.
And just talked about the writing and,
yeah,
yeah, and just the guilt she had and talking about, I should have said something, but, you took advantage, blah, blah, blah.
yeah. I was a kid.
Yeah.
That was the thing.
Yeah.
It's like you
I was
were
a
an adult.
kid.
I was a kid.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah. And then they go outside. There's a very missable reflection moment
I definitely missed this one.
right there.
100% I missed
Because you
this
have
one.
to cross back over to the dead world and then sit in one of the booths.
Oh.
Um,
Did I see that?
But
I
Definitely
wonder.
missed.
yeah, so it was a nice little scene to cool down from all of that crazy intensity, but easily missable. And then
Yeah, I missed it.
Is it reflecting by the? No, not reflecting.
Hellerton
by the,
House
no,
moment
not
of
that
reflection.
One.
no
Not that one. No, that's in our place.
post roast. It's the last one on the list of this chapter 4 stuff.
Missed it.
Yeah,
I missed both moments of reflection in this episode. I was so mad. I was like, damn it.
Post roast chats. Max spoke with both Moses and others after the roast.
Krampus party moment of reflection.
Oh, I did not.
83% missed that one, blood.
Yeah.
Just gonna throw the percentage out there for it's relevant. Jeez.
that's 100%.
Wow.
Video game. Do everything else before
Yeah.
the main. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
hang on a second. Let me
Good
go
one,
look
blood.
around.
Super good one. Super good one. Dang.
But yeah, so like Lucas and Safi have gone outside, and then all of a sudden, like the whole bar starts flipping out.
Yeah, because Safi goes to talk to Lucas, and she's got the gun
Yeah.
at this point. But then she comes back, Lucas comes back, and Lucas says she wanted the truth, and I gave it to her.
Yeah, I was like,
like,
the
what
hell does that mean?
Yeah, what the hell does that
dude?
mean?
She dead in a ditch out there, bro?
Yeah, and then Moses, his head starts to like hurt in the way that
Yeah.
Max
Yeah.
does when
Yeah.
she has like an episode, and then everyone in the bar starts chanting, "You lied to me."
Wait, I got disturbed here. That was
You
disturbing.
lied to me. And maybe this is maybe what you were talking about with Safi, where Safi can influence
Yeah,
other
that's what I was talking about.
people's-
Like
Yeah.
everybody is starting to get
Oh my god.
Safi brain.
Okay. Duh.
You
Yeah.
lied to me.
Okay.
You lied to me.
You got me, guys. Yep. Okay.
And so
there it
you-
is.
Yeah, you run out into the quad, and you're running through the quad, and everyone's just freaking out, chanting this at you, saying
Holy
this to
shit.
you.
But people are also like,
So
do
Safi can go
do you
f-
hear her? Like, you
Yeah.
know, and there was even a time when I crossed over to the dead side, and there were people that were
Yeah.
hearing her across on
Dude.
the other
it was giving me
timeline.
control vibes.
Yeah, I was gonna say Scarlet Witch.
Oh.
Like Safi can freaking manipulate so many people around her. Then holy moly. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
And
It makes sense
And
then.
the storm is starting to kick up.
Yep. And Safi's
Yeah.
headed to the Overlook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get up there, and Yasmin is up there. And
She hike up there in those heels?
and
And Safi's pointing a gun at her mom.
So intense.
yeah.
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 Hardcore.
Yeah. Said something about you'll regret everything, but I forget who said that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Safi or Yasmin?
Oh.
I think Yasmin.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I think
Yasmin.
she's disappointed that Safi like exposed Lucas because it's gonna make it harder
Yeah.
for her. It's like, no, you should have kept this quiet and everything.
And this is where we really learn that like Yasmin was sort of behind the book deal, like pressured Gwen, exploited Gwen to
Mm-hmm.
kill it, and the storm's kicking up. Safi's power starts to kind of like go haywire,
Yeah.
and we get the option to like talk Safi down or to tackle
rush her.
to
Yeah.
rush her. What did you two
I
choose?
try to talk her down.
Talk her down.
her down.
Words first. Always.
Talk her
I
down.
always will go with the words.
Talk her down, and then Safi hits us with the really heartbreaking line. This gun was the only choice I ever really had. Because we're kind of learning that Safi is somebody that was puppeted by her mother or
Yeah.
like didn't really have a straightforward identity. Like her whole power is being able to assume other people's identities.
Yeah.
And you
Oh,
know,
I thought about that. Oh, okay. Hear me out. Okay. Powers in life is strange, right? Max wants to save her friend. What does she want to do? She wants to go back. Sean and Daniel, he wants to protect his dad. He wants to push the people away. So he gets like the push powers. Safi, she was like, I wanted to be anybody
But
else.
myself.
I wanted to
Yeah.
be anybody. Her power
Yeah.
manifested as a shapeshifter. I thought that was so cool. And I feel like that is meaningful for the franchise and maybe even moving forward how these powers manifest for these kids, for these people.
in the situations that
Yeah.
they're in. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, I wonder if you have that dormant thing in you and it comes out in a moment, or if your power is determined by, your life experience.
Well, because Max, like, she had the rewind when she needed the rewind.
Yeah.
And she
Right.
had the time shift when she needed time shift. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
So-
I mean, I guess with Safi, she could have rewound too, but there's a reason, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. But I love that. I love thinking about
it's
that.
definitely interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was cool. Like what that
You're
line
onto
I thought
something,
was
Huber.
such a big
You're
one.
onto something.
I thought it was such a big important line. I was like, oh,
The devs are watching. They're thinking, oh no, he knows too much. He knows too much.
But yeah, unsuccessfully tried to talk Safi down,
yeah.
and Yasmin gets shot
Dude, I
in
know.
the shoulder.
I know. And it's just hanging out there for a while too. Like no 911 calls,
Right.
just kind of like bleeding out over here.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Should we call someone? Like,
the storm is going crazy, and Safi is just like
yeah.
flipping between person after person, and everybody
Yeah.
is
Max.
screaming in the distance. And
We were at the spot here too, so I thought maybe a alderman reappearance
Right.
here.
Dude, Alderman, where are you at? Because he never existed, I think we'll talk about this in chapter 5. But
yeah, Max is just like, I failed. I didn't stop this. Like she
Yeah.
just puts it all back on herself. Like,
Yeah.
so she focuses.
she was trying to read the events that would lead up to it, and she didn't.
And then we end on the. I don't remember if it was like a hard cut or whatever, as Max starts trying to like focus and. I don't remember.
Don't they like
exactly how it
walk
ends, but-
into something or?
No, like
No.
it was basically like the. I think it was just when she said that like that's when it cut.
Yeah.
I don't know that there was any
Yeah.
of her trying to do something.
I wrote Max focuses and ...
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there it is. Like we said, kind of more driving the mission through on this one. It was I think the shortest episode too.
Yeah, it went pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking at my numbers
Yeah.
here, and
Yeah.
I like this one. Again, the
less fun and games in this one.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
love the fun and games. I maybe that's why I love episode 1 so much, because it's just like fun and games. Everyone's happy, everyone's hanging out. Like I love
Yeah.
that stuff.
The cocoa and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and this one just definitely has that vibe of like a big mystery. I know there's always like kind of a mystery a little bit in Life is Strange, but this one was like heavy on that. That was the focus, even more than, Life is Strange 1, I think is so universal because it's like primarily a love story. Or, Life is Strange 2
Yeah.
is like about the bond of brothers.
Yeah, and also when you think of Life is Strange 1 in terms of there's this whole thing of like a serial killer essentially
Yeah.
that's like
Yeah.
kidnapping young girls.
Disturbing.
But then also juxtaposed to like the powers and what this means for the town, and like there's if they had just ended the story with we got Jefferson, but then there's a whole thing where you got to make a decision about to save your town or your like, what?
Yeah.
Right.
What?
So yeah, with this one, I liked kind of just this, Scooby Gang vibe of Max trying to just figure all this out. It's like
Yeah.
history's repeating itself. I like that dynamic too of like she doesn't want to make the same mistakes. I just thought her internal stakes were so high.
Mm-hmm.
So
Numbers.
yeah,
Could Max hurt Safi?
no way.
82% said no.
Nah.
Yeah, it was no way.
At the roast, who should Safi turn into? 92% said to go of herself.
Yeah.
At least saw the rare 8% there.
Oh yeah. Could Max hurt Safi? No. Safi believes in you was the text there.
Mine was Safi feels justice was finally served.
Got it. Go as herself. Safi is proud of herself for owning up to her past.
Yep.
Okay. How to save living world Yasmin.
Yeah. 80% talked to Safi. 20% rushed Safi. I'm curious.
Safi appreciates your words, but feels resigned to her fate.
Yeah, I'm curious whether Yasmin gets shot if you rush her. Because we all talked, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Moment of reflection at the Hellerton house. 50-50
did.
even split.
Yeah.
Missed it.
I missed it.
I reflected because it's kind of like the fireplace is it's almost like on the back of the sitting area.
Yeah.
So it's weird. It is a thing where you maybe don't catch it. Yeah. You know.
To-do lists.
Didn't get that.
Nope.
I got this one.
87% did not see both to-do lists. I saw one. I didn't. I think I saw the
both.
other one in the previous chapter or something and didn't go back for it this time.
The
like
only
the phone booth.
The only difference is one of them says tell Safi the truth. They're both the same except for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's why I didn't look at the other one. It's also weird because it's like you can look at something but not click the button to interact with it. So yeah. Safi as Amanda, 49% said asked Safi not to shapeshift into Amanda again. 41%, which is
Yep.
what I went with, said
Same.
her impersonation
Same,
needs
yeah.
work. 10% didn't ask about Amanda. Safi as Lucas. 32% approved of Lucas's impersonation, of her Lucas impersonation. 68%, which is what I went with,
Yeah.
disliked Safi ruining the bond
Kids are innocent.
with his kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with the kids, dude.
Yeah.
The kids are innocent. Leave them out of it.
Let Lucas ruin his relationship
Yeah.
with his kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
70% said Safi was dead in the other timeline. 30% specifically said that
I told
Max
her.
killed her.
I
Love that.
came clean.
Gingerbread House, 96%
Yeah.
helped Moses.
Heck yeah.
Yep.
The Krampus figurine. Did you see this? This is a 50-50.
I touched it.
This is a good one.
Yeah, jump scare.
Yeah, jump scare.
I
Good
touched
jump
it,
scare.
yeah.
Yeah, I got it. Yep.
Yeah.
Dark Loretta.
Oh, yeah. Insulting Lucas.
Colorado. I just never saw that. That's so funny.
49% insulted Lucas during
yeah.
the chat.
I insulted.
51% were entirely polite.
It was fun because I got to play it both. It's like I insulted him and then I
Yeah.
was like, oh, but art takes time, bro.
What I thought was funny, though, is that, like, the one that I did pick that was an insult was, like, not really an insult, dude. Like, you're a little full of yourself either way.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real here.
Yeah.
Crowd participation, 42% Max cheered, 58% Max booed.
I cheered.
The post-roast chats, 78% spoke with the others afterwards.
That's me.
That's me.
Yep.
Yeah.
22% only spoke with Moses's.
Gotta talk to everybody.
And then the one we talked about earlier, the post-roast moment of
Did
reflection.
not do it.
Only 16%
That is wild.
found that.
That is wild. Nice.
There it is.
There it is.
Chapter 4.
The penultimate is
Yeah.
done, Huber.
So many things
Yes.
that we could not have seen
Yeah.
coming.
I think there is a little bit of a disconnect with the stakes because it's like it almost feels like it's not really Max's problem in a way. Like it's like Safi is doing all this. Like Max is trying to help
She's like the external
Safi.
observer. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's different than the first game because Max and Chloe were so close for
So
life.
tight.
For life. And it's like
She's
Safi.
trying to save Safi
Yeah.
from getting shot.
But it's like Safi
yeah.
is kind of a newer friend.
She doesn't know a lot about Safi.
Exactly. So it really feels
Yeah.
kind of like Max is kind of a external observer. Obviously, like
She's a little bit of an interloper in this.
a
scene.
little
Yeah.
bit
'Cause-
overall. So it was a little
yeah.
harder to fully get emotionally invested because of just Max's position in all of this.
I will say, at least in the first one, Max was returning to Arcadia Bay. Her and Chloe had been childhood friends and
It's
very
her
close.
home. Yeah.
So there was a little, even that it was just struggling with the dynamic of that. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't get those like super emotional highs that I have previously had in the other Life is Strange games. But that's not to say I didn't extremely
Yeah.
enjoy it.
It
You know, still
resonated,
enjoying it
yeah.
every step of the way.
Resonated in so many ways, but
Yeah.
I like you. Like, there's some Life is Strange games where I'm, fighting back tears.
Oh my God.
Because
yeah.
I'm just so, emotionally wounded by what's happening to these characters. I didn't quite get that
Yeah.
in this, but I was still like
Yeah.
in it.
This
you
is
know?
more of the sort of the sci-fi, like, what the what?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the shock
Yeah.
of things. Yeah.
Yeah, just a little more like of a thriller, you know,
Yeah.
instead of like a family drama or something. It's
Yeah.
obviously that it has so many genres within, but it definitely leans more towards like the thriller mystery angle.
Now we come to the ultimate episode.
Yes.
Yep. We got one more. So stay tuned for that. It's coming up. We're going to talk about the ending in Chapter 5. So thank you for joining us for all of this. If you'd like to support what we do and keep all of this stuff rolling, please head over to patreon.com/easyallies and chip in a couple of bucks. And we will see you for Chapter 5.
My powers didn't backfire. No one was killed by their ghostly selves. What matters most is Maya will finally get the recognition she deserves. And maybe Safi will move on. The way she smiled at me when she came off that stage tonight, I'll never forget that.